Hey there, everybody. This is Terence Tan, the I'm Possible Investor, and here's my weekend video for all of you, right, when it comes to trading the US markets, right? Now, so what you see right now on my screen is really the SPY, right? So the SPY has kind of, right, seek a recovery move at the end of this week. But, right, is it all rosy over here? Right, I wouldn't dare say so right now. Okay, now, so what we have over here is that one big candle over here on Wednesday, right, only to fizzle out on Thursday and Friday's trading, right, and there is just basically no direction right now, right? So when are we going to have a, kind of like a signal, Terence, whether we're heading back up or we're going back down, right? At least not until we break the top of this entire range, right, or the bottom of this range over here, right? Now, so in a candle kind of formation, right, this is what we have, a very, very big, all right, candle formation, right, where the next two is basically inside the range. So when we have these kind of inside a candle range, right, what it signals to you is that nobody's taking sides, right? We have indecision right now in the markets, and of course, that's what we see as well, right? Because if I take you through an intraday chart, right, you can literally see that from the opening, right, where are we on the opening? I believe it's here. No? Is this 9:30? No, that's here we are. It's 9:30. Oh, man. Yes, it's here. Yep, here we are. All right, now, so on Friday, 9:30 p.m., this is where the market opened, right? And then it tried to make a move up, right? Only to be sold off. It tried a second time, only to be sold off, right? And this is where it will lead to a lot of traders thinking, all right, oh, we have a lower high, right? Market is going to break down, but it didn't, right? It started resuming the up move over here, right? And closed the week at about 536, which was the high, right? Only to come off 30 points after that, all right? So we settled at about 534, right? While it looked like a positive week because the SPY closed almost $10 higher, right? But if you look at what has happened the entire week, right, we are not at the top of it, right? We are still way off. In fact, we are $15, about $14 to $15 off the highest of this week, right? So the market still has a lot to recover from this. But right, the one thing that I want you to bring your attention to, right, is that there's a serious problem right now happening in the market, right? And many traders may not be aware about this happening. Right now, so it takes a very experienced eye to be able to tell this, but I want to tell you right now that the market has what we call liquidity problems. Right now, so what I mean when I say liquidity problems, right? If I go to one of the heaviest traded products right now, right, which is the E-mini S&Ps, right? Now, what you're noticing right now, if I go here, right, into the range, right? Okay, so this is basically a one-click trade where you get a table, right? So for every price bid and ask, right? Now, typically we have orders in the market that goes like 100 or more, right, at each price level. But right now, what we're seeing in the markets are basically singles, right, or maybe 10 to 20, right, on offer or on bids. Now, so the significance of this is really, imagine the case if one big fund or one big seller needs to come into the market and start dumping a certain position, right? So what's happening right now is the market makers are not coming up with enough volume, right, to absorb, right, this kind of an order. So that's why you start to see a lot of big swings happening within 5 minutes in the marketplace, right? So it's all going to do with liquidity problems, right, which, right, has not been seen, right, very long time, right? Okay, now I say a very long time because the last time these kind of liquidity issues kind of surfaced up, right, was really back, right, during the financial crisis. Now, so the reason why I bring this up, all right, is to literally tell you that the market is peak, right, with a lot of intensity, all right, and a lot of unknowingness right now. Okay, that the last time we see something like that was literally back into the financial crisis. All right, and the next thing that should bring to your attention over here, all right, is that Trump says that he's got the bonds under control. But if you look at this over here, does it really look like he has bonds under control, right? Because, right, if you look at where the peak is, right, and where we are just by the end of the week, right, we have bonds literally falling from $94 to a low of about 84. So that's a $10 drop, right? Or about an 11% drop, right, in bond prices. Now, when do you really see bond prices fall by 11%? Right? It should never be the case unless, right, one big we don't even say firm anymore, right? It might be a bank, it might be a country, right, that's dumping bonds, right? Now, so if you have, right, a very, very big player that's dumping bonds, right, there can only be two reasons. One, right, they're going under, right, which will lead to your concern, because if any banks out there are going under, right, it's going to send another shockwave to the market, right? Or number two, right, some, kind of sovereign out there is frantic right now and they're dumping bonds right now. So when you have such, big capacity dumping bonds, right, then, right, you need someone who's big enough to absorb all these selling pressures as well, right? Now, so this is something that we need to pay a close attention to, right? Because in the long run, do I believe that bond prices will rebound? I believe so, right? So, if you're flush with cash right now, right, and you're looking for some place, right, where there's safety as well as some upside potential, right, and limited downside, which might be the key as well over here, you might want to look into this, right, which is a TLT, right? So it's basically a 20-year treasury bond ETF stock version, right? So you can park your money here, earn some interest along the way, right, while waiting for bond prices, right, to actually rebound, right? Okay, so this is definitely one of your safe havens, your safe bets over here, but, right, it potentially still can have, right, some kind of a downside risk. It's limited, but there still is this pressure. But what I'm trying to say right now is really this, right? One of the reasons why market rebounded was to signify the bounce in bond prices as well. Because the last time we had a big bounce was on Wednesday. You see bond prices stage a big bounce as well, right? And on Friday, we closed strong because bond prices, literally went to the low, right, before reversing and closing higher, right? But can you imagine if that wasn't the case? Right, so there are a lot of volatility going on in the market right now. A lot of traders are uncertain, a lot of unknowns out there. All right, so if you seek out your next trades over here, right, this is the kind of market where I say, right, you better know what you're doing. Right, so can there still be great gains to be made? The answer is yes. Right, but you better know what you're doing and where you're placing your trades. Right now, so just before I end this video, right, I do see some pockets of opportunities in stocks like Costco over here. Right? Why? Because it's kind of stayed pretty strong amidst this entire market sell-off. Right now, so I still spot some potential downside risk, right, on this stock. So some kind of put option trade or some kind of sell call trade, right, might actually come to fruition, right, when it comes to delivering some profits, right, when it comes to Costco. Right, another one over here is probably the real estate ETF, right, which is the IYR. Right now, so I do see some potential downside opportunities as well. Right now, so these are some kind of the trades that I'm definitely zooming in on over here, right, and looking towards the next week, right, to establish certain positions. Right now, so if all this piques your interest over here, I'll see you in my next upcoming introduction session where I can show you, right, if you make the right choices over here, you can actually join us for these weekly live trading sessions where we navigate the markets together and scour out, right, all the new best trades that Mr. Market is throwing us. Right now, so here's my video for this weekend over here. I hope it helps you put things into perspective. It shows you the dangers of this market. Can we head higher next week? We surely can. But can we head lower and break new lows? We definitely can as well. Right, just as a parting shot over here, right, just in case you're not fully aware of exactly what dangers we're looking at right now, right, you only have to go to the weekly charts, right? Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because the next support doesn't come until $475. So that's 4,750 points where we came close the last time around, but we didn't get there. So are we going to come back around and get it? It's definitely possible. Right, and the next low that we have over here is not at least until 3,500 points. Right now, so can we get there? You never know as well, because like I said, if somebody's spitting out bonds, right, and it leads to a bigger issue, we can potentially get back there, which was just 2022 lows over here. So the ball or the court is definitely still open right now. So you better find out a way of how to invest going forward, right, before you dip your feet in this kind of market conditions. Are there a lot of opportunities to make big money? Definitely, right? These are the kind of markets where, next group of, I would say, big market winners are going to be minted, right? The question is, are you going to be part of it, right? Or you're going to miss out on this potential opportunity again? Right, so I hope I bring things to perspective for you. This is Terence Tan, the I'm Possible Investor. I'll see you in my next video, everybody. All right, stay safe.